Welcome to Interlagos for 60 minutes of classic Brazilian endurance action. Daniel Bourne sits on pole in that tiny Mini Cooper, but with Thommo's Puma alongside and heavy Chevrolet Chevettes looming right behind, strategy is going to be absolutely everything today. Green flag drops and we are racing. Immediately, Thommo uses that rear engine traction to grab the lead right away from Daniel Bourne.
But look at the mini dive right back through on the inside.
Thommo isn't having any of it. The Puma draft straight past, down the back, straight to retake the top position before they even reach the Descida do Largo.
Bourne is driving flat out to build a cushion. With that tiny 26-litre fuel tank in the Mini, he is forced into 3 pit stops, whereas Thommo only needs 1 to...
RayFin muscles past MTG to secure third place now.
MTG bites right back immediately into turn 4. The Chevette's stability on the brakes lets him slide down the inside and reclaim that third spot cleanly from RayFin.
Look at RayFin positioning his car so wide through the tight infield sector. He is playing rearguard for Thommo, trying to disrupt MTG's rhythm behind the leaders.
MTG knows losing this slipstream effectively kills his race.
Further back, Clinton Norchi is making progress in the second Mini, sliding past Luis Pereira to take 12th after starting all the way down on the back row.
Norchi shares Bourne's compulsory 3-stop strategy, but having to carve through 20 cars from that rear grid slot is a massive mountain to climb in 1 hour. Out of Johnson, Thommo's Puma puts its rear engine weight right over the drive wheels, launching up the hill to keep Bourne's nimble Mini well within striking distance.
Bourne is wrestling that Mini through every single corner. He knows he must build a pit stop window of cushion before that microscopic fuel cell runs dry soon. Team tactics are rapidly unfolding early on the pit wall. We just hear Thommo barking over the team radio, tell RayFin to hold him off as RCV attempts to protect their lead. Sensational stuff from Bourne. He launches the Mini down the inside into turn 1 late on the brakes and sweeps right back into the lead of this race.
Look at how agile that chassis is through Bico de Pato. Front-wheel drive grip allows Bourne to carry incredible apex speed that the Puma just cannot match.
He is wringing the neck of that car early on a 3-stop strategy. There's no time for management. Every single lap has to be a qualifier. Norchi is carving through traffic with real aggression, taking huge early risks to make up ground.
Look at Norchi tucked right up under the rear bumper of Chevy's Passat through Mergulo, setting up a pass for 13th position now.
Down the main straight, Norchi pulls out of the draft and gets the job done cleanly, moving up into 13th place past the heavy Passat of Sidney Chaves.
MTG is balancing that Chevette brilliantly.
Norchi isn't stopping there. He lunges inside Celio Correa into the Senna S to claim 12th spot. That Mini is moving through the field with remarkable momentum today.
Starting from 22nd, left him with 0 options. He has to take these aggressive lines early on before tyre degradation settles in and slows his raw pace down.
Alarm bells over the team radio from our lead car. Bourne reports tyres are already cooking as pushing this extreme pace begins to scorch his front tyres severely.
Heavy hatchbacks are suffering understeer.
Daniel Bourne leads Thommo, RayFin and MTG up front. The Mini's blistering speed holds off the pack, but strategy pit stops will inevitably reshape this entire leaderboard soon.
Thommo is incredibly composed in second. He recognises Bourne is carrying 20 fewer kilograms of fuel, so there is 0 reason to burn his tyres chasing right now.
MTG sits right in that sweet spot behind the RCV pair. He is just waiting for any hint of a misstep between Thommo and RayFin to strike hard.
Dragging up the Subidados boxes creates massive thermal strain on the Puma's air-cooled engine. RayFin giving Thommo a tow helps keep those core temperatures under control. However, running right in the turbulent wake of another car star's RayFin's radiator of fresh cooling airflow. You can bet his water temperatures are climbing rapidly right now.
Major friction on the team radio. RayFin shouts over the airwaves, "I need clean air," as rising engine heat forces him to consider abandoning that defensive strategy and attacking his own RCV teammate. And RayFin makes his move. He drafts past Thommo into turn one and takes second place. He broke team hierarchy right there to save his own overheating engine.
That was a bold move from RayFin. He prioritised cooling over loyalty, and now Thommo is left completely vulnerable to MTG right behind.
MTG smells blood. He is right on Thommo's gearbox through the sweeping curva du Sol, applying intense pressure as the RCV camp fractures right in front of him.
MTG couldn't have scripted this any better. Their fighting plays right into his hands.
MTG probes down the inside at Bico de Pato. Thommo looks deeply unsettled after losing second to his teammate, and MTG is looking to pounce right here. Furious reactions over team comms. Thommo screams out on the radio, "What is RayFin doing?" as absolute chaos breaks out on the RCV team pit wall right now.
Up front, Bourne is capitalising on this inner team feud. Every second those two fight gives the Mini driver vital breathing room for his fast approaching pit window.
Norchi is quietly charging through the midfield. The second Mini is showing brutal commitment into every single corner, steadily recovering from that last place start on the grid. Thommo is flashing his headlights.
Thommo is right up the exhaust pipe of RayFin. Now you can see the anger in his driving style as he tries to force his way back through. RayFin is placing that heavy Chevette right in the middle of the track with 41 litres of fuel aboard. He can just park it on the apex.
Thommo has lost all patience. He is going for a move right here.
Thommo is mere inches from RayFin's rear bumper entering into Pinheirinho. Any concept of mechanical sympathy or team harmony has now been thrown completely right out the window.
I'm passing him, tell him to move.
Watch the tail of that Puma step out as Thommo trail breaks deep into turn one. That rear engine weight distribution makes it dance right on the brink. MTG is playing the ultimate waiting game.
Three cars separated by mere centimetres. Thommo attacks RayFin, MTG attacks Thommo. One tiny mistake under braking and all three of them could wipe each other right. Daniel Bourne is loving every single second. Bourne extends his lead over the trio.
MTG is being so smart back in fourth. He is lifting early, preserving his tyres and saving fuel while the two RCV cars burn up their rubber fighting.
Total disbelief in the RCV pit box. Thommo duds left, cuts right. He is absolutely desperate to get past RayFin into Johnstown now. Side by side up the main straight. Thommo and RayFin banging wheels, refusing to give up any tarmac. Thommo forces his Puma through into turn one. He finally reclaims second place, but at what cost to his tyres and team relations after that brutal, ferocious battle?
RayFin got completely compromised on exit there. His momentum completely collapsed out of turn one, and now MTG is positioned perfectly to pounce on his Chevette into turn three.
MTG carries immense momentum through Desida do Lago, drawing right up beside RayFin as the second RCV car struggles to defend his line on severely overheated rubber now.
RayFin's rear tyres are completely cooked now. Look at how calm MTG's Chevette is through Ferradura right now. He has preserved his front tyres and can attack whenever he wants.
MTG makes his move into Bico de Pato wheel to wheel through the apex, but MTG gets the superior traction off the corner exit and takes third place away from RayFin. Absolute strategic brilliance. RayFin fights right back down the main, straight to retake third.
MTG outbreaks him right into turn one to take third position back.
Unbelievable. MTG carries that momentum straight past Thommo as well into Curva du Sol in the space of just 2 short corners. MTG has jumped both RCV cars. What a drive from MTG. He capitalised on every bit of friction between those teammates and sliced right through to claim second position in truly extraordinary fashion today.
That internal squabble cost RCV track position and tyre life. Now MTG has clean air ahead and can put his head down to chase right after Daniel Bourne. Daniel Bourne's fuel warning light has got to be glowing, carrying only 26 litres total capacity. He is approaching the limit of this initial stint in the Mini.
The call comes over the radio. His engineer demands, box this lap, Bourne, give us everything on the in-lap, as the race leader prepares to pit now.
RayFin is overdriving to try and stay near MTG, but sliding that heavy Chevette around is only going to destroy his remaining rubber.
RayFin looms large in MTG's rear view mirrors entering turn 4. He is desperately looking for a way past to reclaim second place for the RCV squad today.
Look at the rear snap on exit off Pinheirinho. RayFin is getting way too greedy on the throttle, heating up those rear slicks beyond their thermal working window.
More drama over the team radio. RayFin cries out to his pit crew, my fronts are gone, as those early defensive battles completely cooked his front tyres today.
Meanwhile, Norci has sliced his way up to 12th position. He is driving with real conviction, turning what looked like a compromised race into a serious recovery effort.
MTG is setting purple sectors right now with clean asphalt ahead. He is wringing every drop of performance out of that Chevette and pulling away from RCV. Bourne is running on absolute fumes now. Bourne still holds the lead, but MTG has closed into second spot ahead of RayFin and Thommo. The first pit stops are about to hit this leader group.
RayFin's lap times are dropping off a cliff now with his front tyres completely shot. He is falling right back into the clutches of Thommo right behind him.
Strategy shift for RCV. The pit crew radios RayFin, we are switching to plan B, abandoning their single stop design to relieve his badly degraded front tyres now.
Pitting twice in a 41 litre capacity car means he will be sprinting flat out on lighter fuel, but taking that extra pit stop loss is a huge risk. In contrast, Thommo is driving with sublime composure. Now, having survived the team's squabble, he is hitting his exact fuel consumption targets to make the one-stop.
RayFin veers into the pit entry lane. That early stop commits him completely to this tactical two-stop gamble as RCV attempts to get him into clear track space. RayFin hits the pit limiter and triggers the first pit stop of the front runners. Fresh rubber and fuel go on, but he has a long wait ahead.
Pitting early like this drops him right out into dense traffic, which could destroy his outlap pace.
RayFin stops in his box. The mechanics scramble around the Chevette, hooking up the fuel hose and changing those destroyed front tyres as the seconds slowly tick away.
With RayFin in the pit lane, Thommo moves back into third. He won that psychological battle and preserved his single stop plan in the process.
RayFin drops the clutch and rejoins, but right into heavy traffic. RayFin loses spots on exit. RayFin powers straight back past both of them through turn 3.
But he runs wide and loses those positions all over again.
What a scrap on cold rubber. RayFin dives back inside Medeiros into Ferradura to reclaim 16th place, fighting tooth and nail to make this strategy work out today.
Pitting into traffic was always the risk of plan B. He is spending vital energy fighting cars that aren't even in his class battle, destroying his strategy delta.
Paint Paint is being traded down the Rita Oposta. RayFin is driving with pure fury, forcing his way past back markers in a high-stakes bid to recover lost ground.
Up front, Daniel Bourne is staying out one lap longer than expected. He is squeezing every last milliliter of fuel out of that mini tank before diving in.
Panic on the comms for the race leader. Bourne screams, engine is coughing, I need to box, as he stretches his fuel tank just one corner too far.
You can hear the engine sputtering through Johnson. Bourne is having to coast uphill toward the pit entry, losing seconds of hard-earned gap with every single metre.
And Clinton Nortje is in the exact same boat in the second mini. Both of these small tank cars hit fuel starvation at the exact precise same moment.
Nortje peels into the pit lane first to end his opening stint. Now comes the agonising process of waiting for fuel to pump back in.
Nortje triggers his pit speed limiter right now. The first of his planned 3 pit stops is officially underway as he rolls down toward his waiting garage crew. Strategy unfolds. Bourne still leads on track but is entering the pits right now. Nortje halts in his box. Out on track, RayFin slices past Sidney Chaves into turn 1. He is fighting through the lower order, trying desperately to make up for his lost stop time.
RayFin is overdriving once again, forcing the car like that on fresh rubber is only going to trigger early thermal degradation all over again.
RayFin is hounding Cicero Ramos through the tight infield. He needs to dispose of this traffic quickly if he wants Plan B to yield any real rewards today. Nortje leaves the pits on fresh slicks. RayFin gets the job done into June Sound, sliding inside Ramos to take 13th place. Now he finally has clear track ahead to begin pushing his pace right.
Nortje rejoins straight into midfield traffic now.
Cold tyres catch Nortje out on pit exit. Samuel Wenzel slips right past in his Fusca, dropping Nortje down to 20th spot now. Race leader Daniel Bourne finally veers into the pit lane. He coasts down the entry road, relinquishing the lead after that fuel-starved final lap on track today.
Coasting into the pits cost Bourne vital time. MTG and Thommo will blow past on the main straight.
Bourne stops in his box.
Nortje is glued to Wenzel's rear bumper, looking to retaliate almost immediately.
Nortje dives down the inside of Wenzel at turn 4 to reclaim 20th position on fresh rubber. Bourne exits his pit stall, drops the clutch and accelerates down pit lane to rejoin the race after successfully completing his first stop. Nortje is on a tear. He clears both Gonzaga and Cruz in one sweeping move down the straight to take 18th position. That Mini is flying right now.
Bourne comes out in third behind MTG and Thommo. The pit loss really highlights the harsh reality of carrying that small tank today.
Yellow flag, Thommo is slow on track. Disaster avoided. Thommo gets the Puma, turned around and rejoins, but he has lost massive ground out there. Track goes green once again. Thommo managed to keep the engine running through that spin, but his comfortable buffer back to Bourne has completely vanished into thin air.
That rear engine layout strikes again. He trail brakes just a fraction too hard into turn 1 and the pendulum effect sends the rear end around on him. Air-cooled Puma engines can stall very easily during a spin, so keeping the clutch depressed was a masterful piece of quick thinking to save his overall race.
And MTG inherits the absolute race lead. His patient, smooth drive in the Chevette has paid off handsomely as chaos struck those all around him. RayFin is crawling all over the back of Murillo Pereira's Chevette. He is trying to hustle past to break completely free of this dense midfield train right now.
RayFin's plan B is completely falling apart. Instead of running in clear air, setting fast lap times, he is trapped behind slower cars, overheating his tyres and wasting valuable fuel in these heavy battles.
RayFin flashes his headlights in frustration as he swerves behind Pereira through Laranjina. Every corner stuck behind this pack bleeds precious seconds off his strategy calculations, and you can see his anger mounting from inside the helmet.
I can't get past. He has too much straight line speed.
MTG leads Thommo and Bourne right now. Further back, RayFin is down in 13th, struggling through traffic, while Norchi continues his steady march up to 18th position overall.
Bourne flies.
RayFin pulls out of the slipstream into turn 1, throwing all caution to the wind. He squeezes right past on the inside. RayFin makes the lunge stick through turn 2 and takes 12th spot, finally freeing himself completely from Pereira's rear bumper today.
That was absolute desperation from RayFin. He took a huge risk late on the brakes, but he simply had to make that pass to keep his strategy alive. Out in front, MTG is giving a clinical demonstration. He is hitting every apex, short shifting up the hill and conserving his tyres for his lone pit stop. Thommo has settled down after that spin, but you can see him braking 20 metres earlier into turn 1 now. He is being extra cautious with the rear.
Daniel Bourne is closing down Thommo at a terrifying rate. That Mini is carving through the infield sectors, taking tenths of a second out of the Puma everywhere.
Complete contrast in approaches here. Thommo is nursing his car to make the one-stop work, while Bourne is wringing its neck flat out.
Bourne is right on the rear valence of Thommo's Puma, entering the S2 Senna. He is looking to reclaim second place right here on his fresh rubber.
Bourne knows Thommo's rear tyres suffered severe thermal shock from that spin earlier today.
Side by side into turn 4, Bourne hangs the Mini around the outside, grips up on the fresh slicks and takes second position away from Thommo brilliantly.
What a clean move from Bourne, using that agility and extra grip to sweep cleanly around the outside.
Further back, Norchi uses the draft to blow past Luis Pereira down the straight. The second Mini climbs another spot into 17th place as he continues his recovery.
Norchi is carving up the lower midfield now. He is taking very late braking points when entering turn 1, completely unbothered by the heavy cars surrounding him. MTG has a 15-second cushion up front, but remember he is still running on his heavy starting fuel load, whereas Bourne is on fresh tyres and light fuel.
The clock is ticking relentlessly for Daniel Bourne on a free-stop strategy. He needs to build nearly 40 seconds of gap before his next mandatory stop arrives.
Thommo hitches a ride in Bourne's draft, conserving his fuel and protecting his tyres very cleanly.
Thommo is glued to the slipstream of Bourne up the Subida DOS boxes. He is using the Mini's aerodynamic punch to pull his Puma along without burning fuel. Strategic instructions over the radio. Thommo's engineer advises use the Mini to save fuel, prompting him to sit right in Bourne's wake and conserve his own fuel reserves.
Bourne is punching a massive hole in the air for Thommo. The Mini is burning extra fuel, pushing through the air, while the Puma behind coasts comfortably.
RayFin has finally broken clear of that midfield traffic, but the damage is done. He lost 10 seconds fighting those back markers, completely putting Plan B in severe jeopardy.
We are nearing the 30-minute mark. The single stop runners like MTG and Thommo are readying their strategic pit windows.
MTG maintains his lead over Bourne and Thommo. RayFin sits 11th after his early pit stop, while Norchi continues climbing in 17th place in that second Mini.
Track evolution is really ramping up now. Live track is laying rubber right on the ideal racing line, giving drivers significantly better traction through the infield than early on.
MTG is executing a masterclass out front. Not a single wheel dropped onto the grass, pristine gear shifts and complete mechanical control over his Chevette throughout this stint.
Thommo is playing mind games with Bourne, sitting right on his tail lap after lap, forces Bourne to look in his mirrors and overdrive the car into corner.
Bourne weaves down the straight trying to break that toe, but Thommo stays locked right to his tail. The Puma is refusing to let the Mini pull away. Frustration boils over on the radio. Bourne complains to his crew. He's just sitting there knowing that Thommo is saving vital fuel while staying right on his tail right now. Thommo fills Bourne's mirrors, once again entering Bico de Pato. The Puma is right on the rear bumper of the Mini, keeping the heat on for second position.
Thommo is managing his tyres masterfully here.
Thommo peeks out from the slipstream into turn one, showing his nose in Bourne's mirrors before tucking back in. Pure psychological warfare being waged at high speed.
Norci is up into 17th now. His telemetry shows rapid lap times, but he is sliding the Mini so aggressively that he is risking excessive tyre degradation later. RayFin's fresh tyres are already losing performance, pushing so hard to pass that AI traffic has overheated his rubber, neutralising the pace advantage of his two-stop strategy. Interlagos is a counterclockwise circuit, so that front left tyre takes an absolute beating through Curva do Sol and Laranjina. MTG is starting to feel understeer creeping in.
MTG radios his crew, my steering is getting heavy. Bourne is throwing that Mini into the Cenas with ferocious speed. He is living on the absolute edge, trying to wring every millisecond out of this stint.
Look at the difference in lines. While Bourne slides through the apex, scrubbing tyre life away, Thommo takes a smooth, tight arc, saving his rubber for the long run.
Midfield pit stops are starting as back markers dive into the lane. It opens up clean track space, but also introduces dangerous pit exit traffic variables for our leaders.
RayFin's front tyres are completely pushed past their thermal limit. His two-stop gamble has backfired massively, leaving him fighting heavy front-end wash through every single corner. Here comes the fuel calculation again for Daniel Bourne. That 26-litre cell is nearly empty, forcing him to prepare for his second pit visit of the race.
It's a psychological nightmare for Bourne. Every time he establishes a rhythm and pulls a gap, the low fuel light flashes and forces him back toward the pit lane. The call goes out from the pit wall. Race leader MTG is being instructed to box for his single planned pit stop of this 60-minute endurance contest.
If MTG gets a clean stop here, taking on 35 litres, he will be in prime position for victory.
MTG leads Bourne and Thommo as the single stop pit window opens. RayFin holds 11th while Norci sits 17th as pit strategies begin to intersect across the board.
That was a tactical masterclass overcut from MTG. Running long in clean air allowed him to hammer out quick lap times, building a cushion against Bourne's rapid Mini.
Thommo is coming in on this lap as well. The Puma garage gets ready in pit lane as single stop runners take their mandatory fuel and tyre service.
Daniel Bourne moves back into the physical race lead as others pit, but it is an illusion. He still has another compulsory pit stop to make before this hour finishes.
Norci is throwing caution out the window, sliding wildly out of jump zone, smoking the front tyres as he tries to hustle that Mini back into the midfield fight.
Taking 35 litres of fuel on a single stop strategy takes roughly 40 seconds stationary. It feels like an eternity when watching the timing screens live today.
Pure tension in the garage. One botched tyre change or slow fuel rig engagement right here will completely undo 29 minutes of absolute perfection from MTG out on track.
Bourne is flat out in clean air, trying to build every fraction of a second he can before his Mini's tiny fuel tank forces him back into the pits.
RayFin is stuck down in 11th position. What started as a promising podium scrap has disintegrated into a frustrating midfield grind following that early premature tactical pit stop.
Thommo is squeezing every ounce of speed out of the Puma on his in-lap. He knows a strong in-lap right now could seal the overcut over MTG.
MTG crosses the pit entry line right on the margin. Flawless speed limit management as he rolls into the lane to execute his crucial sole pit stop today.
The Chevette drops onto its air jacks, fuel goes in, tyres get swapped, and MTG can only watch the timer tick while competitors flash past on the main straight.
Bourne leads.
MTG triggers his speed limiter in pit lane right now. The official record shows his first stop is underway as mechanics wait in anticipation at his Chevette box.
Thommo extends his stint by another lap, pushing for the ultimate overcut on MTG.
MTG hits his marks perfectly in the box. Fuel nozzle attached, air guns whirring on the tyres. Every single second spent stationary is critical to his victory ambitions.
Pumping 35 litres takes a solid 40 seconds. Watching that timer tick down is pure agonising pain.
MTG launches out of his box and accelerates hard down the lane. Rejoining on cold tyres, MTG is under immediate attack. Alan Carr Jr.'s massive Opala barges right past through the centre, S dropping MTG down to third position on exit.
Cold, slick tyres on an out lap provide zero lateral grip. MTG is wrestling the Chevette, just trying to keep it on tarmac while defending against faster traffic.
Alan Carr Jr. is giving zero quarter. The Opala driver forces MTG to defend offline, scrubbing speed and heating up brand new tyres on his critical out lap.
This tussle is catastrophic for MTG's strategy. Thommo is still out on track, setting clean, fast times, and every second MTG loses here hands Thommo the net advantage.
MTG screams, "Get this Opala out of my way." MTG dives down the inside of Alan Carr Jr. into Ferradura right now, desperate to clear the stubborn Opala. MTG forces his Chevette ahead into Bico de Pato. He takes back third position from Alan Carr Jr., but the delay has inflicted serious damage on his stint timing.
MTG is finally free, but Thommo is peeling into pit entry right now. The overcut delta looks heavily in Thommo's favour after all those precious lost seconds today.
Clean execution needed in the RCV box. Thommo rolls in. A fast stop will place him directly ahead of MTG when he exits pit lane. Thommo triggers his pit speed limiter. The RCV Puma enters the lane for its single stop. Thommo halts squarely in his pit box. Fuel hose attached instantly. Tyres being changed smoothly by the RCV pit crew. Every single millisecond counts in this tactical war.
MTG is hammering down the main straight. He needs to squeeze every 10th out before Thommo emerges.
Alan Carr Jr. attacks again, but MTG fights back hard. He muscles the Chevette around the outside of turn 4 to hold on to second place against the Opala.
That Opala is refusing to let MTG settle. Every time MTG gets a run, Alan Carr Jr. places his car right in the middle, completely ruining MTG's out lap momentum.
Disastrous timing.
Thommo exits pit lane smoothly, accelerating back onto the track on fresh rubber, right ahead of MTG. MTG dives inside Alan Carr Jr. into Bico de Pato. Once again, he refuses to give up second spot, sweeping through cleanly to maintain position ahead of the Opala.
The overcut has worked brilliantly for Thommo, rejoining in clear space while MTG was delayed by traffic, gives Thommo the effective lead of this grand endurance race.
Bourne is heading toward the pits. His light fuel run is over. Now he must pay the price of his second stop, surrendering the physical lead to Thommo.
Clinton Norchi joins him in the lane for his second mandatory stop as well. That small 26-litre tank is a severe tactical handicap over 60 minutes.
The true order reveals itself on timing screens now. Norchi crosses the line into pit entry to begin his second pit stop. Mechanics get ready for another quick fill of fuel and a fresh set of tyres.
RayFin is slowly making up lost ground.
Daniel Bourne enters pit lane for stop 2. Norchi comes to a stop in his pit box, fuel rig locked on, fresh slicks bolted in place as his garage crew works feverishly to get him back out. Norchi dumps the clutch and roars out of pit lane once again. Daniel Bourne parks in his pit stall. The mechanics jump into action, refueling the Mini for its third stint and bolting on fresh soft rubber right now.
Pure aggression.
RayFin is all over Muniz's gearbox through the Curva du Sol. Double overtake for RayFin. He carves past Muniz into turn 4 and then dives straight inside Adriano Mello at Ferradura to snatch 8th place in stunning fashion.
RayFin is charging through with real anger. That two-stop gamble forces him to drive flat out without any regard for tyre preservation.
Bourne accelerates out of pit lane to rejoin the action on fresh rubber. RayFin lunges inside Amorim to take 6th spot now. MTG leads overall as AI pit stops shuffle the order. RayFin has climbed to 6th while Bourne rejoins 10th ahead of Thommo in 11th after their pit stops.
Bourne rejoins 10th with 25 minutes remaining to carve through the field.
RayFin is locked into the slipstream of Petrenko's Uno up the main straight. He is looking to grab 5th position on his fresh set of rubber right now.
RayFin is driving with aggressive intent, forcing his way past every single car ahead. Look at Daniel Bourne further back on fresh rubber, throwing that light Mini into braking zones with immense confidence to make passes.
Wheel to wheel through Laranjinha as Amorim fights back against RayFin's Chevette. RayFin drafts Petrenko down the Rita Oposta, preparing a decisive lunge into turn 4 now. RayFin dives down the inside of Petrenko into Decida do Lego. A clean, decisive overtake brings the RCV Chevette up into 5th position in this endurance race. Daniel Bourne is charging through traffic with staggering speed. He is braking impossibly late into turn 1, leveraging the Mini's low weight to slice past cars effortlessly. Absolute intent on comms. Bourne confirms on radio, I need qualifying laps until the end, launching into a flat-out sprint to close down leaders. Bourne dives past Amorim at Junsound to claim 9th place cleanly. Bourne breezes past Muniz for 8th spot, and Bourne outbrakes Petrenko into turn 1 to snatch 7th in quick succession. Another place gained. Bourne dives past Adriano Mello into turn 4 to take 6th position. That Mini is moving through the midfield like a total knife through butter.
What a masterclass of traffic navigation from Bourne. He is carrying so much apex speed through the infield that the heavy cars cannot defend.
Bourne is right on the rear bumper of RayFin into Ferradura.
Side by side for 5th.
Bourne sweeps past RayFin down the inside into Bico de Pato. The Mini takes 5th position cleanly, leaving the Chevette behind as Bourne continues his fierce charge back.
RayFin had absolutely zero answer for that. Fresh tyres and a light fuel load made that pass effortless for Bourne.
Up to 4th place goes Daniel Bourne. He outbrakes Edvaldo Lopes into Yonsang, carrying unbelievable exit speed up the hill as he zeroes in on the podium spot.
RayFin recognised the pace delta and wisely didn't waste time fighting Bourne's faster Mini.
Daniel Bourne claims 3rd place. He dives inside Joao Palares into turn 1, completing another stunning overtake to put the Mini back onto the virtual podium right now.
Out in front of Bourne, Thommo is driving with total precision. He is hitting his precise fuel economy targets while maintaining solid lap times on his single stop strategy.
MTG has cleared the AI back markers at last with clean track space ahead. He is putting his head down to chase after Thommo for the lead of this race.
Norci is back in 18th, but his aggressive inputs show he is pushing way beyond the physical limits of his tyres.
Thommo slices past Pietro Petrenko into turn 4 to take 10th spot. He is working his way back up as front-running AI cars make their delayed pit visits.
Thommo clears traffic cleanly without drama.
Thommo takes 9th from Muniz. Thommo moves up into 8th place now. MTG leads the race overall as Bourne holds 3rd place. Thommo has moved up to 8th while passing traffic, and RayFin sits 4th on his 2-stop strategy.
Look at MTG pulling back time on the straights. The front-engine Chevette has superior top-end velocity compared to the Puma up the long climb to the finish line.
Daniel Bourne has fought all the way back up to 3rd position. The 3-stop pace is incredible, but remember, he still has one more pit stop to make before checkered. Thommo pressure tests, mellow into turn 1. The Puma driver is looking for any opening to dispatch this AI hatchback cleanly. Side by side into turn 4, Thommo hangs the Puma on the inside, gets the traction and completes the move to take 7th place away from Mello.
Thommo utilises superior rear traction on exit.
Thommo swoops inside Edvaldo Lopes at Bico di Pato to take 6th position in swift fashion. Another spot secured for Thommo. He outbraked João Palhares into Junso and launches up the hill to claim 5th place cleanly as AI cars drop into pits.
Radio reports from RayFin indicate gear shifting trouble. Aggressive downshifts without proper heel and toe rev, matching early in the race, have caused mechanical stress on his transmission.
Mechanical heartbreak over the team radio. RayFin shouts to his pit wall, "I'm losing 3rd gear as severe transmission damage threatens to completely destroy his entire race today."
You can see MTG turning the wheel harder into Laranjinha. Those earlier laps spent battling Alencar Jr.'s Opala on cold rubber have severely degraded his front slicks.
Norcia scraps with Medeiros again. Medeiros pressuring Norci into turn 1. Medeiros squeezes past Norci into Decida do Largo. The Mini driver fights back hard, but Medeiros gets the better traction exit to claim 17th position back.
Norci is letting his temper drive the car, taking wide aggressive angles offline is only going to scrub more rubber off his tyres and cost him even more time.
High stakes tactical battle out front. Daniel Bourne is pushing to open up a 40-second pit cushion, but MTG is matching his lap time sector by sector. Desperate radio calls from the Mini crew urging Bourne to push harder. They know without a massive gap that impending 3rd pit stop will hand victory to MTG.
Thommo is driving with clinical composure in 5th. He is protecting his tyres and engine, allowing the race strategy to unfold cleanly without overdriving his Puma. Missing 3rd gear is crippling RayFin through the medium speed corners, having to bog down in 4th or over reef. 2nd is costing him nearly a second per lap.
Thommo closes right up to the back of his struggling teammate RayFin. The two RCV machines converge again, but RayFin's damaged gearbox leaves him completely defenseless.
Team drama.
Side by side down the main straight, Thommo pulls out of the slipstream alongside RayFin, looking to sweep past into turn 1 without any resistance this time.
RayFin yields sensibly to help Thommo's race.
Thommo easily moves alongside RayFin, entering Decida do Largo now. Thommo completes the pass cleanly for 4th position. RayFin lifts early to let his teammate through, recognizing his own gearbox damage, makes defending completely pointless right now. Thommo reclaims 4th spot ahead of RayFin. Norci gets swift revenge on Fagner Medeiros. He outbrakes the AI car into turn 1 to retake 17th position after that long, furious midfield scrap today.
Norchi finally disposes of Medeiros, but he has scrubbed massive life off his tyres doing so. His aggressive recovery drive is proving costlier with every passing lap.
Bourne is launching hard over the curbs at Pico de Pato. He is risking suspension damage, squeezing every millisecond out of that Mini. Bourne attacks Alan Carr Jr. now. Side by side into turn one. Bourne dives inside the Opala. Bourne makes the move, sticking to Curva du Sol. The Mini takes second position from Alan Carr Jr., setting off in ultimate pursuit of race leader MTG.
Bourne moves into second, but his small fuel cell will force him in soon.
Medeiros drafts Norchi once again.
Side by side into turn four. Norchi is completely surrounded down the back straight, fighting both Medeiros and Luis Pereira in a desperate three-way midfield squabble right now. Medeiros wrestles 17th position back from Norchi. The Mini gets compromised on the outside line of Desida do Lago and drops back yet again in this chaotic fight.
MTG holds the virtual lead, but Thommo is making steady inroads behind him. The Puma's superior tyre preservation is allowing Thommo to chip away at the gap.
Urgent warning from the race leader. MTG radios his crew. Tyres are critical as his front end grip fades and Thommo shrinks the 12-second advantage lap by lap.
This is where the rear engine layout pays massive dividends. Thommo's front tyres are in far better shape than MTG's, giving him huge steering confidence through the infield right now. The low fuel indicator must be glowing again on Daniel Bourne's dash. His second stint in the Mini is coming to an end, mandating another pit stop soon.
Clinton Norchi heads into pit lane for his third pit stop. A chaotic, frustrated race for the second Mini comes to its final pit service as mechanics stand ready. Norchi triggers his limiter on pit entry. The timing screen confirms his third compulsory stop is underway as he rolls down the lane toward his garage slot.
Bourne stretches his stint to the absolute limit, gambling on running the fuel dry.
Norchi stops in his box for his final scheduled pit service. Fuel goes into the Mini and fresh slicks are bolted on for his closing stint today.
You can hear the mechanical crunch from RayFin's Chevette on every entry into turn one. Without third gear, he is forcing downshifts and punishing the synchros ruthlessly.
Norchi dumps the clutch violently and spins the front tyres, leaving his box desperate to get back onto the track for his final stint. Norchi leaves pit lane and accelerates back onto the circuit for the final time today. Let's see what raw pace he can show on these fresh tyres. Daniel Bourne is setting personal best sectors on fumes. He is wringing absolute magic out of that Mini, wringing every microsecond before he is forced to pit. Screaming over the team radio, his engineer yells in complete panic, "Box now, Bourne, or we don't make it home," as the Mini runs on its absolute last drop of fuel. MTG leads Bourne and Alan Carr Jr. Thommo sits fourth while RayFin holds fifth place despite his severe transmission damage as Bourne's final pit stop looms right now.
MTG crosses start-finish knowing Bourne must head into the pits. With 12 minutes remaining, MTG can see victory right in front of him if his tyres hold up.
But don't write off Thommo. The Puma is carving into MTG's lead, benefiting from superior rear engine traction and fresher front tyres in these closing stages of the race.
RayFin's gearbox failure forces him into pit lane for an unscheduled repair stop. That mechanical damage completely destroys any chance of a strong finish for the RCV driver.
Complete heartbreak in the RCV garage as RayFin's race crumbles into total ruins now. RayFin limps into the pit lane for his second pit stop. Mechanics get ready to inspect the transmission and check for terminal mechanical damage on the RCV Chevette.
RayFin slams his steering wheel in pure agony. The initial plan failed and mechanical breakdown sealed his fate today.
RayFin stops in his box. The crew open the hood to investigate the severe gearbox issues while refueling the crippled Chevette right now. RayFin leaves pit lane to rejoin the race, but he is lapsed down and completely out of contention after a disastrous sequence of tactical and mechanical failures.
Thommo isn't concerned with RayFin's issues. He is purely focused on catching MTG's struggling Chevette for victory.
Thommo closes right onto the rear bumper of Alencar Jr.'s Opala, entering the main straight now. Side by side into turn one, Thommo lunges his Puma down the inside of Alencar Jr., determined to clear the AI machine without losing a single tenth.
Thommo dispatches the Opala with clinical aggression.
Thommo completes the overtake through Curva du Sol. The Puma takes third position cleanly and immediately sets off after MTG for the virtual lead of this race.
MTG is losing a second per lap to Thommo. His front tyres have zero mechanical grip left, causing the Chevette to wash wide on every single corner entry.
RayFin is back out on circuit, but a lap down in sixth place with fresh slicks and massive frustration. He could become an unpredictable hazard for leaders. Daniel Bourne sits stationary in his pit stall for his third stop, watching the seconds tick away as MTG and Thommo fly past on track is absolute torture. Disaster in the mini pit box. The mechanics fumble with the fuel hose connection, losing crucial extra seconds while Bourne waits helplessly inside the cockpit right.
That pit error completely destroys Bourne's strategy. He drove a heroic sprint stint, but losing 5 extra seconds in the lane hands the victory battle to MTG and Thommo.
MTG slips. Yellow flag. MTG runs wide and drops to second behind Bourne. MTG gathers the Chevette up and keeps going. He survived the off-track excursion, but his tyres are coated in grass and dirt, making him incredibly vulnerable to Thommo.
Thommo is right on MTG's tail now. That mistake stripped MTG of his remaining buffer, and now the Puma is poised to strike for the lead of this race. Bourne rejoins in third place, but with only 8 minutes left, closing a 20-second gap to MTG, and Thommo is mathematically out of reach.
Bourne holds the physical lead on track, but must pit again shortly. MTG and Thommo battle for the virtual victory, separated by mere fractions of a second. Heartbreak on the radio comms. MTG admits to his team, "I lost it," as confidence drains away following that costly off-track moment at turn 4 just now. Unbelievable scenes. Daniel Bourne is diving back into pit lane. The fumbled hose during his previous stop didn't pump enough fuel. Absolute calamity for the Mini driver.
What an unfortunate disaster for Bourne. He drove a brilliant sprint race in that Mini, only for pit equipment failure to ruin his victory hopes.
Daniel Bourne triggers his speed limiter as he enters pit lane for an emergency third pit stop. The Mini crew stands ready to fix their fueling error. Pure rage over the radio from Bourne as his dream win slips away in pit lane. Bourne halts in his pit stall. The mechanics frantically attach the fuel rig again, ensuring the tank gets filled properly this time as precious seconds tick away. Bourne rejoins! Bourne drops the clutch and roars out of pit lane. He drops to third position behind MTG and Thommo, armed with fresh tyres and burning determinations.
Look at Thommo closing in through Pineirinho. The Puma's front tyres are gripping cleanly, while MTG is fighting severe understeer to keep the Chevette on the apex.
Precise tactical advice over the radio. Thommo's engineer tells him he has no front grip. Attack him in the slow corners, setting up the potential winning move.
MTG is placing his Chevette on defensive lines through every corner. He is covering the inside, forcing Thommo to try high-risk moves around the outside if he wants to pass.
This is pure endurance racing drama. A wounded leader on destroyed front tyres trying to hold off a charging rival whose car was preserved for this exact final showdown. Bourne is setting purple lap records in third place, driving with absolute fury. Thommo probes down the inside of MTG into turn 1. He shows his nose, forcing MTG to brake late and compromise his exit onto the back straight.
Thommo forced MTG onto a defensive line, completely ruining his drive out of turn 1.
Thommo draws alongside MTG through to Cedar du Lago. The Puma and Chevette run side by side down the hill in an exhilarating battle for victory.
MTG's front tyres have zero grip left.
Thommo makes his move into Pico de Pato. He dives down the inside as MTG slides wide, executing a magnificent pass to take the race lead cleanly. Side by side exiting Pico de Pato. Thommo takes the lead of the race. He powers ahead of MTG out of June zone, making the single stop strategy pay off after 55 minutes of patient management.
MTG has zero response left, pushing so aggressively during those earlier battles with Alencar Jr., destroyed his tyres, leaving him completely helpless to defend against Thommo. Thommo pulls away instantly up front, a textbook demonstration of fuel saving and tyre preservation paying off today.
MTG settles into second position behind Thommo. He is managing his wounded Chevette, trying desperately to hold on to second place as Bourne closes rapidly from behind. RayFin and Norchi fight down the back straight. Thommo leads MTG out front while Daniel Bourne has recovered up to fourth position and is closing in fast on the podium runners in these final minutes.
Chaos between back markers. Norchi ignores blue flags and squeezes RayFin offline into turn 4, triggering a dramatic squabble between the two most frustrated drivers on track.
Contact made. RayFin spins after contact with Norchi.
RayFin gets the Chevette pointed straight again, but he is furious. That collision with Norchi completes a truly nightmare race for the RCV driver today.
Radio fury from RayFin. He screams to his pit wall, get him disqualified after that reckless collision with Norchi completely ruined his recovery drive.
Daniel Bourne is taking 3 seconds a lap out of MTG now on fresh rubber. The Mini is eating into that gap with astonishing sector times.
The gap between second and third is shrinking visibly on every main straight pass. Bourne wants that second step of the podium before time runs out.
MTG has lost all rhythm out there. The combination of dead front tyres and losing the lead has completely broken his momentum in these closing laps.
Radio warning for the second place car. MTG's engineer cautions, check your mirrors, Bourne is coming as the Mini closes down on the Chevette at speed.
Out front, Thommo is driving with total tranquility. He has a comfortable margin and just needs to manage his equipment cleanly home to secure the win.
Bourne carves past the back-marking AI cars like they are standing still. He is driving with absolute fury, hunting down MTG for second spot.
The mathematical countdown is agonising. Bourne is vastly faster, but there might simply not be enough remaining laps to catch MTG.
Bourne looks down the inside of Alencar Jr. into Pico de Pato, desperate to clear the Opala and continue his charge after MTG. Radio instructions over the mini-coms. Bourne demands, give me everything the engine has, ignore the temperatures pushing the car beyond all thermal limits. Bourne side by side with Alencar Jr. Bourne completes the pass on Alencar Jr. through Johnstone up to third position now. He has MTG's silver Chevette directly in his line of sight.
Norchi is limping his damaged Mini around the back of the circuit, a rolling hazard venting pure frustration after a miserable afternoon at Interlagos. MTG's lap times are falling off a cliff with zero front grip left. He is wrestling the steering wheel through every corner, helpless to stop Bourne closing. Thommo glides through the final complex, easing off the throttle slightly to preserve his car's strategic perfection from the Puma driver coming to fruition.
Bourne has MTG clearly in his sights now. The silver Chevette is squirming wildly through Bico de Pato, struggling for traction as the Mini closes in. 4 seconds per lap faster. Bourne is taking massive chunks out of MTG's advantage, setting up a grandstand finish for second place on the final lap.
Thommo is managing his pace masterfully out front. He executed the one-stop strategy flawlessly today, staying out of trouble and letting the race come to him.
Jubilation in the RCV garage. They navigated early internal team warfare to put Thommo on the verge of a brilliant victory at Interlagos. Thommo leads MTG and Bourne on the leaderboard as we approach the manual race end trigger. The podium order hangs in the balance right now. But all eyes are on that battle for second. Bourne is driving like a man possessed, wringing every microsecond out of that Mini on fresh rubber.
MTG is squirming under braking into turn 1. His front tyres are totally shot and Bourne is coming like a freight train behind him.
Panic over the comms. MTG's engineer screams, defend the inside. He's right there as Bourne pulls right onto the Chevette's rear valence. Bourne flashes his headlights down the back straight. Pure psychological pressure being applied on MTG as they barrel toward the braking zone at turn 4.
Thommo enters the final sector. What a magnificent endurance drive from the Puma pilot, balancing fuel economy and tyre preservation to perfection today.
Bourne is taking unreal lines through Laranjina, carrying speed that shouldn't be physically possible on worn tarmac, drawing wheel to wheel with MTG's Chevette.
MTG is weaving down the straight to break the toe, but his dead front tyres give him zero bite through the sweeping curves.
Thommo starts his final lap with a commanding lead of over 7 seconds over MTG and 12 seconds over Bourne.
Thommo has built an unassailable cushion up front, managing his fuel load and tyre wear brilliantly to comfortably control this final lap of the race. Meanwhile, Bourne is lapping over 3 seconds per lap faster than MTG. That Mini is closing at a staggering rate as they navigate the infield.
Bourne is virtually touching MTG's rear bumper into Bico de Pato. The tension is suffocating as they barrel into the final sector of this hour-long thriller.
A heartbreaking end for MTG's podium. Hopes as the front grip collapses completely, allowing Bourne to draw level on corner exit.
Bourne is right on the tail of MTG through Juntsound. Just a few corners left to decide second place on the run to the line. Bourne's relentless final sprint pays off as he draws alongside MTG, salvaging a heroic second position after all those pit stop complications. Bourne is glued to the rear bumper of MTG entering the final 2 turns. This is going to be decided on the drag up the hill.
Bourne just needs to stay tucked into the slipstream up Subida DOS boxes to use the Mini's lightweight acceleration to sweep past before the line.
Side by side up the main straight, Bourne uses that lightweight Mini speed to sweep past MTG in dramatic fashion. Disaster for MTG. He slides off into the gravel on the main straight as his front tyres give up completely. Thommo crosses the finish line to take a brilliant masterclass victory here at Interlagos. Checkered flag for Thommo, a strategic masterpiece from the RCV Puma driver to win this 60-minute endurance contest. Daniel Bourne crosses the line in second place. An extraordinary heroic recovery drive after those fumbled pit stops today. MTG limps across the line in third position to complete the podium, surviving that lake gravel excursion.
Thommo takes a well-deserved victory. The single-stop strategy and brilliant tyre conservation proved superior to outright sprinting over 60 minutes of racing.
Absolute madness after the checkered flag. Clinton Norchie has completely lost his mind and rammed right into the leaders past the finish line.
Disgraceful behaviour from Norchie, a reckless act of pure frustration that will undoubtedly result in severe penalties from the race stewards.
RayFin crosses the finish line down the main straight to secure 5th position after an eventful, turbulent race in the second RCV Chevette. Clinton Norchie crosses the finish line in last position, bringing an end to a deeply chaotic and controversial afternoon for the Mini driver.
Thommo's winning Puma sustained heavy post-race damage in that incident. The RCV garage is rightfully furious with Norchie's dangerous actions.
Huge collision after the line as Norchie wiped out the race leaders in a moment of utter madness. What an explosive, dramatic finish to a magnificent strategic endurance encounter. Thommo claims the victory, but controversies will rage in the paddock.
The race stewards will certainly have a long evening ahead investigating that post-race crash, a bizarre ending to a fantastic race.
That wraps up our coverage of an unforgettable Copa Classic B endurance race at Interlagos. Thank you for watching and good night.